Yes, it's people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host with the most, the Bridge Nation, here today to give you Chelsea transfer news. Chelsea looking like they're about to sign the Gittens, looking to make a deal happen there for around about £50 million. That's what Bayern Munich are currently demanding. Obviously, Ekitike, it looks like the deal is advancing. It seems that Chelsea are somewhat agreed some level of personal time with the player, are now trying to really push to sign the player now, it seems, and trying to get this deal over by the end of the week. You know what I mean? And also, they've been discussing Sancho. You know what I mean? It's looking like, the contract stuff is looking a bit banduli, as I like to call it. But listen, we'll discuss that and more, of course. Please make sure, as you're coming in, to like, share, subscribe. Make sure to tell a friend. Helps me out and helps the channel at the end of the day. Listen, and I also get $1. You know what I mean? Or £1. You know what I mean? Helps me out. You know what I mean? £1 per video. You know what I mean? That's what I like to hear, man. And that's £60 over, what is that, 60 videos. So that's probably good enough for me, man. Good enough for me. Listen, it is what it is. But listen, I am joined by my fellow co-host. You see him a lot of the time, casually see, and Carefree Lewis. You know what I mean? He is Gittens' #1 hater. Scott, how are we doing?
Great.
So, listen, man, a lot to talk about today. I was actually surprised, to be honest. I thought we might be a little bit more of a quiet there, but then I realized the conference Club World Cup is starting next week, so it's to be expected that we're going to be getting a lot of this news. So no surprises there. Gittens, hi, where you at? Wow, okay, we got a lot of Gittens fans here. Big up to my boy Lucas. Wow, that's what they say, man. Real fan channel. Well, much appreciated. You feel tough. Say 50 million quid. Keep George. I said, all right, damn. Wow. Listen, wow. Clearly a lot of negativity already. But listen, let's actually read what's been reported before we start getting into the nitty-gritty, as I like to call it. So let me actually bring it up for everyone here first and foremost. Obviously, it was initially reported by the Telegraph, so credit to the Telegraph, of course. And let's make it a little bit bigger for everyone to read and bang so that we can see each other properly. And here we land. So this is obviously the main news from MC Mike McGrath, and he says, breaking, Chelsea are in talks with Dortmund over Jamie Gittens and want the deal done before the Club World Cup. Gittens is expected to attract bids of around 50 million. Now, key thing that I would just like to point people out to here, first and foremost, is expected, right? So that does not mean that they're going to be getting 50 million as a final bid. They could just easily get a 40 million bid, a 45 million bid. So clearly his price range is within Chelsea range. Again, if you follow this channel, one of the things I always talk about, what is the average Chelsea transfer that they can do from a certain price range? Guaranteed cash money is between 30 million to 45 million pounds. So that's why I want you guys to just, keep that in mind as to the Gittens transfer at the end of the day. Now, one thing I do want to remind people here, is that we were actually talking to Gittens, I think 2 to 3 months ago, or I think it was just a month ago actually, and it was in regards to a contract offer we gave him. So this is something that I think people forgot. There we are, and this was actually 2 months ago. Keep this in mind. Chelsea are in contact with Gittens camp and have offered 67 million a year, doubling his current salary, and this is the price range that they had offered at the time. So this is why, man, this is why you need to have good memory, chat. You know what I mean? I remember this from this last time, and this is from a very reliable buying to a Borussia Dortmund source. So this is why I wanted to bring this one up, because it clearly shows us that, again, we know what the price range is. It's in Chelsea range, and they've already given him a personal term and offer. So this is why, for me, this deal is very easy and fast to be seen. So that's the main reason as to why I'm actually discussing that at the end of this. So I thought it'd be much easier for us to actually look at it and actually see from that point of view. Wa alaikum salam, auntie. Hope you're doing well. But big up to you. But listen, let's actually read some of your actual comments. And Dortmund doesn't want to pay 30 million for Carney, but want 50 million for Gittens. I don't think they want them. They probably want.
Yes, because that's how Dortmund work.
They're not going to get 50 million for him. They know they're not going to. They're competitive.
They will. They probably will.
I don't think the club's going to pay 50 million for him. I'll be honest with you. I think it'll be 45, but that's the way I see it. But next summer, we're going to get Quenda. We're going to get Quenda coming, so it just doesn't make sense having potential players in the starting 11. Actually, big up to Igal for the raid. Big up to our brother Igal for the raid. Much appreciated. If you are coming from Igal, please make sure again to like, share, subscribe. Helps me and channel out as well. And plus, you see me there all the time, so make sure to subscribe to me as well, please. Big up to Igal for the raid. But where was I? Oh my god, I just think I just lost it. No. Why we need to sign left winger if we don't have a good target? Save money for next summer. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna save this comment, EP stuff. I'm gonna come back to it. This is a good comment. Getting Gittens while rivals are getting in Buemo. Okay, we need to have like a serious talk about this as well, because Bridge Nation's gonna have to crash on that one, sadly. Bundesliga knows the Prem teams get more money. We will always have to overpay. Edwards is finding out as we speak. He is indeed. But what was it? Sancho and Gittens have more user experience and have faced more low blocks than Mboma and Cunha. Whoa, what a take. This is a take. What a take. I don't even know.
Fairs.
Wow. Board is addicted to transfers. Wow. I've never seen EVO Turf be so turned off by the market. Yo, EVO Turf, man. You need to tell the streets, man. I need to hear from you, bro, because it's just surprising, man. I'm surprised that you're not so high on this. But you know what, yeah? Before I let Scott rip like a blade, you know what I mean? Let's actually look at him from a statistical standpoint, you know what I mean? Because I don't want us to be let me just bring.
Hey, Lucas, by the way, I don't know, just while you're looking up, Lucas, have you seen who one of our goalkeeper targets is?
Is it Trafford, I'm assuming?
Bro, I said on Lewis's channel, if we get Trafford because he's another ex-Man City Academy player, Joe Shields is dead to me. He's dead to me. This man has, bro, it's literally just, bro, his like, like scouts have like that.
That's
book,
his class of 92, man. That's his class of 92.
I was gonna say, bro, you know, all scouts apparently have that like book, or like they have a book of contacts, bro. It's all fucking ex-Man City Academy players. That's all it is. This man can't sign anyone else but ex-Academy players.
So damn. But listen, let's actually look at him. So this is Bino Gittens, obviously in the league. He's All right, he's 20 years old. He's got in terms of the Bundesliga, 8 goals, 3 assists. In the Champions League this season, he got 4 goals and no assists. All right, come on, let's move on from here. And if you just look at him from just like at this point, non-penalty goals, he's got 0.41 non-pen goals per 90. He's got 2.58 shots per 90. Shot grading action is quite low actually. If I look at this, progressive carries 5.53. He's in the 91st percentile, and he's in the 99th percentile for successful take-ons. Now, this is just looking at stuff like this. Yeah, is I think key because again, if we look at Maresca's system, as I've spoken about many times before on this channel, Maresca's system, what does it rely upon? You want 1v1 demons, guys that can take on the man, and then can either cut inside to shoot and score themselves, or they can go out wide and then do and create as well, right? So when you look at stuff like this, carries and take-ons, I'm really looking at that, bro. You know what I mean? I'm looking more at that sort of statistics here and seeing what they're seeing. Again, this is me trying to do, this is Bridge Nation taking the emotions out of it now. I've taken the emotions of the game out of it, man. I know what my club is now, so I've taken the emotions of the game. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I've taken the emotions out of the game now, so that's what I'm gonna say. The sooner people realize, yeah, I've lost emotions now for the signings that I've wanted. It is what it is. But I'll tell you this right now for Gittens. Would I ideally want Gittens at the football club? Of course I wouldn't. I would probably want a bit more better winger. But if I look at the left wing market right now, I think a problem is the type of left winger we're going for. I don't think is available to that high level. Again, you've got Liao, of course, but realistically, I don't think this club's gonna go for Liao, right? In my personal opinion. And then if I look at someone else, I'm trying to think of someone else right now off the top of my head before I start actually doing some good research myself. There, Rodrigo, sadly, he's going to be staying at Real Madrid. So the top 2 picks of many people aren't going to be coming to this football club. So as such, I look at that and I just put them to the side. And I'm like, if you can't make that happen, EPL stuff, you know my thoughts on Leo. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to use people's arguments. Chill, EPL stuff. All right. If I look at that, if I just look at this, and objectively, I do have to look at Maresca a little bit and be like, if I can't get ideally the type of left wing that I want, why don't I tweak the system, right? Tweak it a little bit, right? Where you make the person that's on the left maybe a bit, change the way you attack a little bit more, and maybe make that left guy, the guy that's going to be on the left-hand side, a bit more of an inside forward, maybe a left cam-ish situation. And then I think, your market becomes a much bigger market, of much more talented players, in my personal opinion, that I would be much more interested to eat. I'll be real with you, bro. Again, I've said this before, I'll be eating. Morgan Rogers. A lot of these guys that I'm just mentioning off the top of my head, would work perfectly in that situation, bro. If you just tweet it a little bit more on that side. But that's just my personal opinion, of course. But again, if I look at Biden Gittens again from the statistical standpoint, that's the way the club looks at people, sadly. And I take out my feelings, my emotions, right? He, he, in my personal opinion, suits what the club wants. He suits it to T. He's good. He can carry the ball quite well. He's one of the best. He's got 99 percentile of successful take-ons. And that's that. If I look at it objectively from a statistical standpoint, that is what they're looking at, bro. That's what they want. So I don't know. I really don't know what else to say to that. Now, listen. I think for me, the thing I would say about him is that I think he's still much more of a raw talent. You probably have to wait a season or 2, in my personal opinion, as well. And I think for me, he's not going to be a ready-made player. So that's probably the one of the main negatives I probably would have right now. So that's all. But big up to Chris, boy, Ekitike and Gittens Nation. Big up. Wow, Chris Valentin, he's on the wave. He's on the wave for sure. And listen, let's just let the line out. Scott, talk to me.
I don't know where to start, man, with this. Listening to what Jez said earlier, I don't know if you listened to it as well in the group chat. Bro, it's just red flags.
I've known Jez's feelings for him for a very long while.
So yeah, I didn't. And the thing is, and I said this on Lewis's channel, I didn't even phrase it in a leading question way. I just said, I'm hearing mixed things. Tell me about Gittens. I just said, tell me about him. That's all I said. And then, just what he said, it's just red flags, bro. Number one, and this is the biggest red flag, is apparently there's an attitude problem. Not necessarily off the pitch. I don't care about the off the pitch stuff because I know that Dortmund fans aren't happy with him because he requested to leave in January. It's on the pitch. Apparently, when things aren't going his way on the pitch, there seems how did he describe it? There seems to be either like his head dropping or just a just disregard for stuff. Like he just seems to kind of check out when things aren't going his way on a football pitch. That's a red flag. When it comes to young players as well, we're seeing people complain about Noni, Jackson, Colwell at the start of the season or most of the season. Players like that, Sancho as well, that having that same issue. So you're bringing another young guy with that same issue. That's a massive red flag. He's very good. I will say, very good dribbler. And Jez said he was a very good dribbler. His shot selection and decision making absolutely terrible, like genuinely just awful. He is 2-footed, which I like. That's a positive. What was the other red flag that he said? There was another one. I can't remember what it was. There was another one as well. I know he said that since Kovac has come in, and people can say what they want about, it's a different style of play. They've got better since Kovac came in. That Sahin team was shit. Like, it was genuinely terrible. Yep. They've got better since Kovac come in. He's the only attacker that hasn't improved. He's the only attacker that's stagnated since Kovac came in. And Jez even said, like, he doesn't rate like most of their attackers. Adeyemi, he doesn't rate. He's got better. Brandt doesn't rate, has got better. That Duranville guy, who's a kid, got better.
Get the legs up, people. Get the legs up, people.
Bayer as well got better. Yeah, it's just the way I look at it, because I think it's going to happen. I don't want him. Like, I straight up don't want him. I don't think he works. I think people accepting him are, if you want to accept him, that's cool. I know where you stand, like at this football club and how we're going to compete. I find it quite ironic how we've had conversations, how if we're accepting getting the striker, if we're accepting getting the striker, then the striker we're getting, I mean, like the lap or whatnot, there was a consensus of if we're doing that, we have to go and get a bad boy left winger. And now we're seemingly happy that we're not getting a bad boy left winger. Yeah, it's just is what it is. But I'm gonna say the same thing I said on Lewis's channel that Daniel said as well, and I completely agree with. And I know Senak's on the same note, and I think Lucas is as well, or I assume Lucas will be. I don't care who you get in this position, they need to hit day one minimum. I'm not waiting for time. You don't get 2 years. You hit immediately. And that's the same for Delap. That's the same for Ekitike if we get him. That's the same for Gittens. Same for whoever else we get in that attack. You have to hit immediately day one. I'm not waiting for you. If you do not hit immediately, you can leave. You don't get time. You're on mute, by the way, Ahmed.
Damn, fair enough. Thanks for that, Scott. What are your thoughts on the Gittens signing, Joey?
I don't know, like I think people are just kind of overblowing the whole thing. Like I don't necessarily like. First of all, like anyone thinking Dortmund's gonna accept 35 million or 40 million from us for Gittens is crazy. Like I saw Max's tweet about Gittens and the how much we were actually willing to pay for him. Like that shit ain't that like all right. So I'm not necessarily like opposed to this Gittens thing, but I'm not necessarily for it. Like I just think that you have to I think you have to get someone better, but I just don't know who is my problem. Like everything is just like this just project of projects. And yo, I don't mind projects, bro, but like this Gittens, bro, he has 6 months of fucking sample size that I have to base my fucking my understanding of the player on. It's I that's not how scouting should work. Like 6 months is not a big enough sample size to get this done. Like with Hugo, at least, bro, I know I could go 2 years of Hugo for playing first team football and starting in a German team, and I could see what the sample size that they're looking at and see how it can correlate. Okay, with this, I'm just yo, why are we doing this again? We already got one coming in from the other side. in a sample size that we can't necessarily just like be like, oh, it's going to translate right away. Like Esteval is already a huge risk, like that you're taking for samples for translation into this league. Like I personally do this if I was us. I just buy no one right now at left wing until like later in the window and try to get something done later in the window, bro. Like that's kind of more my, because I don't believe Gittens going anywhere, bro. I don't believe Gittens going nowhere, bro.
Nope.
I don't think he's going anywhere. So like
he's got no other interest right now outside of us.
That's not true either, though, Scott. That's not true.
He hasn't got. There's no. I've seen only nothing I've seen linked with
that is to us, but like there is other interest. I've seen Arsenal linked with them. I've seen Liverpool linked with them. Like it's not necessarily just us. Like if you actually go and look, like from like the last 2 months or so, you'll see that all the other links that are around for him. But like once again, I just like there are teams that want Gittens. Bro, there are other teams. I just don't see it moving very fast. Like, I don't see other teams moving that quickly towards them. So, like, just wait on it. Like, that's my personal opinion. Just wait on it. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be before the Club World Cup, especially if you get Hugo Ekitike. Like, that way you can at least see if Nico Jackson even suitable to play on the left wing for us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just wait. See how the Club World Cup, see after the Club World Cup, see what happens after all that. If Gittens, it seems to be the option that's available that it just, there's not much left for us to go for, then then go get him. Okay. But like right now, if you're telling me right now, I'm just saying, finish the Hugo Ekitike deal done and go into the Club World Cup with one more center back. Go find one more center back and go into the Club World Cup. Like that's how I see it. My thing with it, I don't necessarily think we need to fucking pull the trigger on Gittens right now. Is my point.
My thing with the Gittens thing as well is like there are so many better options in terms of other things you can do. Not even necessarily on a left wing, right? I think there are better left wingers, but we talked about this before, and I know you made this, and I agree. And I think there's some things you do. But Neto on the left, people go, Neto's not a left winger. He played most of his time at Wolves on the left wing. He played more on the left wing than he did on the right. He has played, I'd argue, as good on the left for us as he has on the right. That's how bad he probably.
I guess here's the thing, right? Like I thought about this a little bit more, right? Because I thought, like, why not go for Mbeumo, right? Like just move Neto to the left.
Not even just Mbeumo. Like, but like, he wasn't just who I was going to say.
There's right wings more right wing options than left wing options. I get your point, okay? But here's the thought process, right? If you do get another right winger, right? You're talking about like the pathway for Esteval just gets slimmer and slimmer, bro.
I think he still gets time anyway. He's going to get the same amount of time whether Neto's there or whether someone else is there.
I think you'd have to move Noni to make it make sense.
Oh, you know, bro, I'm assuming in this scenario that Noni gets moved anyway.
Okay.
I think that Noni gets moved anyway.
I do think Noni is probably up for a Newcastle move, like we've all thought.
Potentially, but I'm thinking the way I currently look at our wingers going into next season is we have George and Blank on the left, and then
Neto, Noni,
and then Neto and Esteval on the right. All I do is just put Neto on the left and go and get Kudus, move Pop. The other thing I would do, and I know Maresca would never do this, but I would do it. If you actually want to go and get someone who's a City Academy player and works and can play a couple positions, move Palmer to the right, which I think is better for him, and go and fucking get Rodgers.
Yeah.
Now, I think for
that
me,
front three behind, hang on. That front three behind the striker is nuts.
Yeah, but again, I think my thing is, if this is the reason why I was speaking about Rodgers recently. If you are going to bring in Rodgers and stuff like that, Maresca has to be willing to, tweak something to make that happen, right? He's got to have to tweak the way he uses his wingers to make that work, if that makes sense, right?
I'll be honest. I don't even think you have to tweak anything. Like, worst case scenario, you can play Rodgers. Worst case scenario with Rodgers, by the way, you can put him on the left. He's played on the wing. He was a winger before he was a 10.
Fair enough.
You can
I
play him on the
personally,
wing.
I just don't like Morgan Rogers on the wing. Like I've watched him enough on the wing. I just don't like it.
That's fair.
Like,
That's why I say
that's
worst
the only
case
thing
scenario.
it's like my only like it's literally like my only downside to it. I just don't like every time I've watched him play left wing, it's been like really poor performances coming from there.
That's fair. But like what I'm saying is
Right.
that's worst case scenario. And I still think Rogers there for me is just a better player than Gittens. He's just a better player.
Here's the thing. I don't like saying that. I don't like saying that. I think he's a smarter player. If anything, like if we're talking about like I think we're downplaying his ability, right? Like Gittens' ability. It's not that he has a bad profile, right? Like the profile for Gittens actually isn't that bad. Okay, Scott. Like that part of it isn't the issue. It's his decisions making, bro. It's the decision making of him is my issue, bro. He does not make good decisions. He's shooting at erratic times. He's like just trying to do anything that he can to get a shot off. He doesn't want to cut. He does not want to get the ball, swing the ball inside from the byline. But he's willing to take his man on him, like some of our wingers. Like that's the thing. Is like one thing like people like to do is he's like Noni. Well, no, not really. He plays with a lower center of gravity. His ball control is much better because it's not as awkward as Noni, and he can shoot with both feet. And he's willing to take his man on, unlike Noni waiting 10 seconds every single time he touches the ball to fucking pass the ball back anyways. Like the IQ though for Gittens is my issue. The profile is not the issue. Like that part of it, I don't actually have an issue with. It's just the football knowledge and the understanding that he has is not good enough to the level that we need at this current moment. It has nothing to do with the fucking profile of the player, though.
I agree. The one thing I said I think is similar to Noni is the shooting in terms of not necessarily the feet, but I think you see how our fans get on Noni, and rightly or wrongly at times in terms of the selfishness stuff, which I think is nonsense, but the selfishness stuff and where and when he chooses to take shots, Gittens is going to have the same issue because in that sense, in terms of how he takes shots, where he takes shots, like you said, just taking shots.
The one thing he does do well at is getting the ball on target, unlike Noni. Okay, like he has like a 70+% on target ratio when he does shoot. And like that part of it isn't the issue. It's the time. It's my problem with Sesko, honestly. It's the timing you're taking your shots. When you are taking the shot, do you have space to even take the shot? Okay, like a lot of times you're taking shots, you don't even have the space to take the shot with. Like that. That's it.
This is the stupidest thing. That comment, by the way, is
right. Here's my thing, right? As much as we say this, could we say that Maresca improved Noni this year?
Yes,
somewhat. Yes. You can say that.
No, not somewhat. He has. He straight up has.
Yeah, he has, right? The other player that I always like to bring up because I watched a lot of him at Montpellier was Madueke. I never see Madueke play like this at Montpellier. Okay, never. I watched 3 years of the guy. Never did I see the fucking guy play like the way that he played at Leicester. Okay, to think that he can't get more out of him is just being kind of like, man, we're just downplaying what our manager has been able to do. Okay, so like there's the upsides of like what he has the capability of being able to do. If we're getting him for 40 million, I'm like, am I like gonna sit here and be fucking upset about it? No, but I just don't think he was that like. I just don't think he was that profile that's gonna push us over the top per se, right? Like I don't think it's a guy that's gonna take us another level up. I just think it keeps the level pretty standard. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Like that's it.
I'll repeat again, and it's not even just for the way I feel. It's just in terms of the reality of this football club. He needs to hit straight away. He does not have 2 years. We're seeing with this football club, if you don't get to a level that they expect in 2 years, you're gone. We're seeing that.
Yep.
So he doesn't even have 2 years, really. He's got one. Because in my mind, I think when Gwenda comes in, if he is continuing at the rate of development that we have seen so far, and he continues to perform in Portugal, and with how high the ownership group seem to be on him, I've seen because we know how they are sometimes with players. For me, he comes in and immediately probably gets starting minutes. So if you're not convincing in that first season, this season, there's every chance you lose your starting spot immediately once Quenda comes in. Then you've got to show that you can develop and perform, getting 30 minutes off the bench here and there, or starting cup games, which is harder to do. Like, it's just harder to do it in football, unless you're an incredible super sub.
Yeah,
so, this guy has to hit straight away, which if he hits, cool. I'm happy to be wrong. And I think people need to understand that. When I'm complaining about these players, like, I hope they prove me wrong. Like, I hope Gittens comes in and is the best winger in the league, is like absolutely incredible. I hope that Ekitike, I don't particularly rate him that highly. I hope he's incredible. I hope he scores 20 plus goals in the league. Prove me wrong, because then we win shit. But I'm looking at it going, I'm trying to see where we're trying to get to. And Gittens has to hit anything. Like, he has to hit. And the other thing is as well, if Maresca's getting Gittens, he has to hit as well. Because you're getting players that you specifically ask for. You are asking for this player to him.
That's my biggest
If Gittens doesn't work, if Gittens doesn't work, this is on you. No sporting directors. You don't. Yes. I'll take the spotlight away from the sporting directors, because apparently they're not involved in this Gittens thing. Maresca and Joe Shields, you take the blame if this fucks up.
On you.
This doesn't work. You take the blame.
I kind of think that's the same way with the lap, though.
Yes, I agree.
I think that's kind of the same question with the lap. Like, I think as much as we all like the lap, right? I think it's still Maresca's guy, right? Like,
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it's both Maresca's guy. I'll be honest. I think it's both Maresca's guy, and also I think the club realizing they need another different striker.
Yeah, I do think with the lap there is a little bit.
I'm not necessarily saying it's the wrong move. I'm not necessarily
No. I'm kind of like providing, like, I think the percentages of which how much does.
I think the club wanted the lap regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The lap wanted it regardless. It was
I think that the big move. I think the big part of this, right, is that Maresca has personally advocated to try to get him. Right, like,
exactly.
Between him and Shields advocating to get this done, that's two of the major players
that are in the room. How many have we got from City? Like, how many has Shields been a part of that we've signed so far?
4, right?
All right, so let's go through them. Right, so Palmer,
Tosin,
Lavia, Tosin.
I don't even really count Lavia, to be honest, because we were interested well before Shields came in. But I
think that having Shields allows us to get these players over a line a little bit easier.
And then now it's the lap. The lap is 4, makes it 4 now.
Was the lap 4?
And then it would be half a squad.
Yes.
It would be half a starting lineup at 5 with Gittens.
I just listen. I'm gonna just say 2 things. I think for me, I've been hearing this argument of like, let's finish off the Ekitike deal. Let's finish off the Ekitike deal. Let's get a centre back in, obviously, play the Club World Cup, and then we'll see what left wingers come available in the market afterwards. But the question I would ask when we start speaking like that is, who are we imagining is going to be available within that period of time? That's going to change the game, right? Now you may say Rodrigo,
Leao, who's better. Like, people can say
Leao. Here's the thing with Leao, right? Because like I said yesterday on Casually, right, bro, Leao is going to hate his fucking life again.
Leao is already available, man. But bro, there's already sound is already coming
out.
For me, what's changing now?
Here's the thing: is there's different stages of the window, bro, where the pricing starts to differ because of other people's targets needing to be accomplished. Okay, it's the same thing with like the way that I see Madrid, right? With Madrid, I don't see them dropping the price. Okay, like that's just like plain and simple. Like, they don't need to drop the price. They don't even need to sell the fucker.
No.
Okay, like he doesn't need to be sold. Like, technically, like they could use him as options for backup in this case, as much as he would be. But with Leao, like, you're gonna see Milan are not in Europe. Like, I could see that going. But to me, I'm not even a fan of Leao. Like,
I'm not a fan of Leao either, that way. So I'm not high on my own supply. I'm not high on my own supply. That's one thing I will tell you right now. I don't want him at the club personally. Listen, I think
don't want Leao. Like, as much as like like I see where Scott's coming from with Liao. Like I see where you're coming from, bro. Like I really do, but I'm not necessarily like I'm not necessarily saying. But you gotta restructure the way we play for him to not fucking be lazy. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? He got you, bro. He is just lazy as fuck.
One problem I have with
Oh,
your
no,
team, Scott, by the way, yesterday.
100%. I don't think you have to restructure everything. You might have to move a couple people about, but I think it still works.
No, but you know what? The one thing I'll say, yeah, we've been watching PSG. A lot of people have been watching PSG. A lot of people speaking of PSG. Every player is brought in at PSG, bro. Every player is going to do both the offensive and defensive action, bro. That's the so for me, if I want a player to be at my football club, I don't care what level you're at. You have to be giving me 100%, bro. Like I can't. For me, I just can't accept that right now. I'll be honest with you. But
no, you have to have the right manager. Like the right manager has to be able to try to get that out.
That's what I was about to say when it comes to that's where I take umbrage with like the club and the way they do things in terms of whether you rate Liao or not. The thing that he will bring to this football club, which is sorely needed, especially for winning at the top level, is that ego. Just in terms of like that kind of ego that the Neymars and Mbappes have of like. He believes in his own source and he will try and win everything. We don't have that really in this club. At least not now. We could do, but I don't think we have it. And I don't think
the kid has
those kind of players.
The kid has it.
Well, Esteban. Hopefully.
He believes in his own shit.
Issue with that is I feel like you need that to an extent to win at the top level, for me personally. So when you get players that have that kind of ego about them, trying to get them to buy into certain things can be hard.
Scott's on his blue lock talk, son. He's on his blue lock talk right now, son.
Yeah, the problem is we're not blue lock, man. This is Chelsea FC side. And at Chelsea Football Club, man, egos don't exist there. So we're not doing this. Yeah, we're not doing this, man. We ain't got some player doing this right now, thinking about how he's gonna score his next goal right now, bro. You know what I mean? We ain't got puzzle pieces ready.
I agree with you on it, but that's the point I was going to make. Is that I think this club doesn't want those kind of players because if they get them, it's going to expose the manager. I think.
Yes,
it will. I don't think Maresca currently has the capabilities to
manage egos.
He doesn't have the same. I don't want to use. It's not aura, but it's like it's gravitas.
Yeah,
to be able to to be able to convince the likes of Leao and that to like, I do think he can improve him defensively, but if things start to hit the fan, if shit does hit the fan, he doesn't have the gravitas to like to do that. Like in a way, I'm not saying he is, but in a way he's kind of like Arteta, like how I mentioned, it's like in a sense of like it's just easier to deal with less egos, which that's fine. Until
like listen, I always say the only way managers can deal with egos is either if they're like a cult of personality themselves, or like they have a way of
have the ego themselves.
Yeah, they have to either have the ego themselves, or the B option, which is probably what most managers have, is they have like the CV to back them up. I also
think that it comes with a bit of like
CV. You have to have the CV.
Yeah, you have to have the CV to kind of do it.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So for me, when it just comes down to it, I think I understand why the club isn't going for these ego.
You know, though, Scott, there is a good point though that to make though with Leah, even with like if you kind of put the Jadon sample size to it, like I think Jadon was very good tracking back at that by the end of the year. Like he was actually
I agree.
really good.
Oh, Joey, I agree. I think the same. I think the same captain said for Noni, and I think even though Noni,
it came earlier for Noni. He was doing it come like week 4, week 5, like after he got dropped the one time, right? Like I think that I mean I don't think that it's impossible for you to get that out of Liao is what I'm
100%. But I agree. Like, and I said this on a stream where it's like I think if there is anyone I trust in terms of based on what I see, what he's done already, I trust that Maresca can get something defensively out of Liao. I'm not expecting him to suddenly become the best defensive winger in the league, like a Martinelli or whatever. But if you can just get something, just get a level of effort on the left-hand side, which I think he can. We've already got the best left back in the world playing that side anyway, so I think he can alleviate some of the issues. The change I would do is you either have to play a midfield without Enzo, Or you put Caicedo on the left.
Yeah.
So you have Caicedo on the left and Enzo on the right, and then Caicedo can cover, which again...
But then that would give you the Palmer problem of playing Palmer on the left.
Not necessarily. Well, I don't care, man.
It does change things, though, right?
I think EPO Tav makes a good point, by the way.
I do agree. I do agree with changing it, but like I think there is a way you can make it work. And like I said, I think Maresca can get.
The thing is, Scott, right? Like the thing is this, right? Like if Milan still want like 70 plus, 80 plus, like to me that's still not worth it.
I might as well go for Morgan Rogers. I'll be honest. I'd rather go for Morgan Rogers than him. I hate to put it like that, but
I just
think if we were getting it for like 60, 65 after the season he had, and like he's just like pushing himself out of the move, and like Mendes gets us a deal for him in the end, like I see it in that manner, but I don't see us spending
the one thing you don't want. The one thing you don't want, yeah, and I think EPL Tough makes a great point here, is the Sterling situation at Chelsea, because we all remember how Sterling's ego was killing us, bro, in that season.
Yeah, but I think that was more of a club thing, though. I think that was more of a club thing.
Yeah,
I think the club was like, we're done with you, bro. We're just done with you. We don't give a fuck. We're done with you.
No. I'm talking about this.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think it's that though. I think it's a case of like, because I agree you don't want the Sterling ego thing, but the problem with Sterling was never his ego being too big. The problem with Sterling was he was just on the decline as a player. So you got a player who was already kind of washed on the decline, had just left that Man City team. Like he was never going to get any better than that. Mm-hmm. You were just hoping he gave you at least like half of what he was getting at City, which he didn't. So
yeah, I just it's tough, man. There's not. What did he say? What did Jez say? I like Jez's opinion on this.
But do you guys think you can get away with
Jez? I don't think so, because it goes back to what I said at the start, where it's like I don't think at the moment there is enough attacking quality, even if we get Ekitike. Actually, there's 2 points to this. Number one, we need a left winger this window anyway, unless we're just going to make Noni the full-time left winger in the situation, or Neto. Second, I don't think we have enough in attack currently. I'm not comfortable. If we sign Delap and Ekitike, I'm still not comfortable going into the season with no other additions in that attack. Not yet. Just, I'm not fully comfortable. Until I see how Neto works with those two, and until I see whether those two can.
Here's the thing: is I do believe Neto's output is going to be higher, because I like the type of crosses that Neto normally put in. He's one of the better low-driven crossers that we have on this team. So like when he actually does put low-driven crosses in, which is also a whole nother issue. Like I think that the Ekitikes and the Delaps are going to be in a lot better positions than Nico. Like just period. Like their movement is just a lot better in the box. So like I think that specifically, I think that's going to be a big plus to us and I think also with Palmer, Enzo, them latching onto runs in behind, because people think, oh, we don't run in behind, but we just don't successfully accomplish runs in behind is our problem. Like either Nico's offsides or he just fumbles the ball. Like that's just literally it. Like it's not like fucking like Enzo hasn't put Nico in behind multiple times this year and he just fumbles it every single time. Like that's like I just think the big thing here is like you have to get a left winger. Like you have to get another winger in this window.
To answer your question, Jez, really quickly, that's something that I've been saying for a while. If I'm the club, yeah, realistically, if I don't want to go for the left wing, yeah, I'll put Neto on the left, return Palmer to the right, and then whoever you can buy a Yildiz, a Rodgers, whoever you want to buy for the 10 role, and then bring in your striker being Ekitike or
I was gonna say this is what I want.
A big solution. Me, yeah,
this is best case scenario in terms of like if you can't get Rodrigo, then that's best case scenario for me. If you go and get Rodgers, and then have either Rodgers and Palmer Palmer on the right, Rodgers in the 10, Neto on the left. That's best case scenario. But they won't do that because Maresca doesn't want to play Palmer anywhere but the 10. So okay, fair enough. He has to play 10. And then this club just want that left winger instead of doing the right winger. So yeah, it just doesn't work. So
Adler News just said Ekitike is only a matter of time. See, everybody has a different opinion about Gyökeres. Like I don't think it's this like big jump from the two strikers that we currently are going for. Like I really don't see that this is going to be this big jump that everybody's saying. And even with United, like if United end up getting him, which I do kind of believe now that they're going to be the team that ends up giving him the money that he wants, because they're giving everybody else the money they want. I mean, they gave Cunha nearly 200K a week. They're going to give Mbeumo probably somewhere around that too, like probably like a 180-ish. Like, to me, you go get an Ekitike, who's really he's probably a bit better than Jackson pressing. But I think that
am I the only one who thinks the pressing thing doesn't matter as much because we don't really press anyway? Like our pressing.
I think that we're trying to. I think that there was some big deficiencies in our team that wouldn't allow us to press.
I don't know if I agree because I think if you look at some of the guys we got, like I think Jackson wasn't the best presser, but I thought he was okay. If Ekitike comes in, I'll take your word for it. From what I've read as well, he's a very good presser.
Yeah.
Palmer's not exactly very he's okay.
I think that's one of Palmer's most underrated. I
think he's okay. I think the thing he does well isn't the pressing; it's the the directing of passing lanes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the other thing is Gittens is straight up. That was one of the other things Jez said to me.
Part of pressing is getting the ball into the area that you want it to be in. Like that's part of it, right? Like, and they use Palmer as a someone to cut off passing lanes most of the time because he understands where to be and what type of pass someone wants to pull off. A lot of the times, he's really good at nipping the ball off of somebody, like in just that. And a lot of the times, he's like pissed when he doesn't get it. Like, and I can tell that he's like really his intention of trying to get the ball in these pressing moments is really like forward thinking. And then he's really trying to get that ball so he can get a breakaway a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Like,
I just think for me, listen, at the end of the day, it seems like Gittens is the way. Maybe tomorrow we find out some different, completely crazy breaking news. Oh, we're going to be going for a different player. No, in Chelsea, there's always a reality that couldn't even take place. Or we just get the Gittens. Here we go.
Here's the thing, right? Like in the end, it's like I feel like the problem with this left wing situation is it's like Gittens, and then you like I look at the list of the wingers that I'm gonna go through the list. I have a list written down that I'm gonna go through on my channel. I'm supposed to start my show here. But yeah, like it's just rough, bro. It's fucking rough. It's like either you're getting inexperienced or you're getting just like unsure you're going to be able to get into transfer into the next league. But let me push this back just another 15.
But let me continue on because I need to talk about before we. I want to actually talk about Sancho actually because we might as well just talk about Sancho right now because it's a bit more easy to talk about actually because we're discussing him before I go to Ekitike, and that is of course that crucial hours on Jadon Sancho. Get a ready decision expected imminently. That's from Fabrizio Romano. He then obviously, we then obviously got this. What's it called? Sancho's reps were asking 200K a week initially. Unclear on outcome. Chelsea won't go anywhere near that. Likely 110 to 140K. And listen, one thing to consider also that was I forgot to mention from there was that Sancho and Gittens both have the same agent or same agent company that looks after them. And one thing I've always said and I've always maintained is that I don't think Sancho is going to be staying in this football club. I've said this before. I don't think he's going to accept any wages that we're going to give him. And the fact that they initially came up with 200K, I get it's negotiations. They want to start high so that they can get somewhere to their ideal thing. I just don't see it happening, bro. I just don't see it happening.
I'm starting to be on the same. Yesterday I wasn't, but today I'm. Yeah, with the number that they asked for off the top, like I'm.
That and again, this is listen. People can say whatever they want. I think he did not have a great season at Chelsea.
No, he didn't.
And I don't care what anyone says. Like he didn't have a great season at Chelsea. He wasn't that great of and he's only worth, in my personal opinion, 100 to 110K a week maximum.
I'd say I agree because I think he had a good season. Like I think it was like a 6 out of 10 as a totality. Because he did have a very good start, and I thought he finished it okay. Like he finished it kind of well. The problem you're looking at here, like if he is wanting 200k, that's nuts. That would make him the second highest or joint second highest earner in the whole squad.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Like, he needs to understand. He needs to understand. Him and his representatives, if that is true, need to understand that is not happening in any way, shape, or form. Like
nowhere in world football. Not even Saudi Arabia is going to pay you that, Sancho.
Oh, Saudi might, but also no Saudi team's going for him because they're looking at other options. That's never happening. I agree with you, Ahmed. I think the 110 range, because I think 110 is what we've offered Gittens as well, based on that thing you brought up earlier. I think 7 million a week is like roughly 110 or just slightly more, I think.
Exactly.
A week. So that makes sense. I'm umming and ahhing on the Sancho thing because, like, if we did keep him, he'd have to be a squad player. He'd have to be a bench option in the league, but he probably would do really well in the Champions League, based on how he's performed in Europe this season and how he performed in Europe for Dortmund. So if you can convince him to come in on like that 100, then oh yeah, like they probably will negotiate stupidly, but at least with Gittens, they're like, with Sancho, it's like you're asking him to cut his wages. Whereas with Gittens, you're probably raising his wages. We're
doubling his wages. We're doubling his wages apparently. Yeah.
So like, it's a bit of a different direction you're coming from, basically. But yeah, this whole Sancho thing, he can't, like, he has to know he can't take it. The issue is if you are asking him to take 110, you're asking him to pretty much halve his wages. So it's whether he wants to do that to play in a team where he is not even guaranteed minutes and probably going to be sold after a year, potentially. Like,
I think it's just very simple. Listen, this is a nice little special message to Sancho. Get out of my club. That's it, man. Thank you. Love. That's it, man. No, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, dude needs to realize he's about to take a huge pay cut, or he's going to rot on Manchester United's bench. It's like one or the other.
Like, he'll go out loans. He'll go out on loan somewhere. Like, he definitely won't be there next season. He'll go out on loan minimum. But yeah, he needs to understand he's not getting that money.
He's not getting that money, man. And the fact that it's been reported it's going to be imminently, stuff like that. All I'm going to say, man, hey, we know what that means. When people start hearing the word imminently, that means it ain't happening, big man. It ain't happening at all. So listen, in regards to Sancho Lini, time to say goodbye to him, man. It's not happening, boys. You know what I mean? Give up. One thing I do want to talk about.
I would say I'd rather him than Gittens.
Yeah.
I think I said this before. I'd rather him than Gittens.
Dearing me. But one thing I will add just quickly is that Madueke, I've been seeing that Newcastle may be going in for him now that they've lost out to Mbeumo, to Manchester United. How realistic do you think that is, and how much do you think we can get for Madueke if possible? Now, I think probably a good 45 million for Madueke. I can see that happen. I don't know about you guys.
Agree. No, I agree with that, and I think
it would depend on.
For 45, 50, I think it all depends on the financial capabilities of Newcastle.
Damn, man. Wow, we hate our only good 1v1 winger. What's going on, bro? You got a new IQ now, bro, doing stop-starts that are failing. Please, man, have some respect, please. Thank you. You know what I mean? For Newcastle, 60 million. Eddie Howe, come get your boy. He's not even his boy, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know why people make Eddie Howe.
The chat is going wild over this shit.
50 minutes and he in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we had to listen to Ahmed's fucking ramble about how Madueke is our best winger for God.
I've said this before. Madueke is
been our best winger this season.
I still think Neto was better than him this year.
No, we're not doing that. No, he's not.
Yeah, I don't know why people are doing this.
I'll be honest with you,
Neto, just because Neto had to go up top for us and for half.
He was bad on the wing as well. Like, we're not doing this like, he had to go up top. He was bad on the wing.
All of our wingers were bad, bro. Noni had fucking 4 goals in one game and then 3 goals the rest of the damn season.
And he was still better than Neto, though. Like, I'm not even saying that our whole wingers were good. I'm saying that's how bad our wingers were. Noni was our best winger. That shows the level of our
Irregardless, man, we're comparing shit and shit. So
yeah,
it really
like,
matter.
they were all shit.
You know
It's
what I mean?
just here's the thing: is like, in my opinion, like what Neto did for us this season compared to what Nani did for us this season was way more important. That's what.
Yeah, but like again, you have to look. We have to add the context. Neto, of course, cost £60 million, was allegedly prem proven, and he gave us that performance. So you know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
but a lot of that also comes down to fucking Jackson's finishing. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, but listen, we can
Like,
say
what
part
we
of it is
doing here,
we
dude?
can
Like,
say part of it is due to Jackson, but a good majority was also his play was poor.
Yeah, he was just
I'm
bad.
not saying that. I'm not saying that, bro. I'm not saying that it wasn't poor, but I'm saying for what we had, right? For what we had, he was probably our most important attacker that we had outside of Palmer. Like, that's it. That's it.
I would disagree. But...
that's all right. We could agree to disagree on that.
Yeah. Listen, in the end of the day, man, Madueke Nation, it's looking like your time is up, bro. I said that this season he was going to leave the club, and it's looking like it's happening. So, you know, if you guys ever call me a Madueke, you know, Glazer again, have some respect, because I actually told you guys he's probably going to leave the season. So, thank you very much. But let's talk about Ekitike quickly as well.
No, before I go, I just want to I gotta go here. I'm gonna start my stream, but I just want to clarify something that we had on this spoken about this channel. Ahmed, just a second. I'm gonna pull it up for you real quick. I got something for you. I gotta just make sure that I let people know I won the war. Like, I won the war here. Okay, I ended up winning the war. All right. So, Ahmed, if you would put my screen up, if you would put my screen up, if you would.
No, we're not doing that here.
Nah, we're doing this right now, Ahmed. Put the screen up.
No, we're not.
We're doing this. Ahmed, put the screen up, Ahmed. No, Ahmed, put the screen up. Put the screen up, Ahmed. Put the screen up, Ahmed. No, you're doing this right now, Ahmed. Put the screen up. Put the screen up. We won the war, boys. We won the war.
I don't want to go a bit more up because
we won the war. Cucurella over Tio Hernandez. We won the war, boys. We won the war. Just remember what we had. I said Cucurella would outplay this guy, son. I said Cucurella would outplay this guy, son. And again, he outplayed his best season that Tio Hernandez had ever had. And now Tio Hernandez is on his way to Saudi Arabia. Hold that, my friend. Hold that one, my friend. Thank you very much. I still rate him as a player, by the way. He's just not better than Cucurella. Thank you very much, though. Cheers.
On a side note, by the way, I think this coupled with the Bruno Fernandes thing, for me, almost guarantees Osimhen doesn't go there.
Yeah.
So I think Osimhen's now in a position where he has to either.
Scott, there's still one chance still for him to go there. There is because I read after what's it called? They just signed Inzaghi, right? They just signed Inzaghi, and with Inzaghi, they said that they're going to sign 3 big players. So now it's Bruno, Tio Hernandez, and then Prout, and one more.
That's fine. That's not the issue. The issue is, bro, they are already, with Teo Hernandez and Bruno, they're already over their cap, like in terms of international players. They have to get rid of those international players.
I know.
Apparently, what's that striker that they have there? Mitrovic.
Mitrovic was linked to loans outside of the league.
Yeah, he's been linked to United as well.
And he needs to go first, like before they can do anything. Yeah, like 10. But one of those 10 is some random Brazilian. He'll go. I assume Renan Lodi will go because he's their current left back. They're also linked with Ronaldo actually as well. That's a good point. Yeah, like he may not be able to go there after all because they're gonna have to get rid of those players first before they can start going and get more.
Yeah, we'll see. To me, I wouldn't be surprised if I at this point, like, I don't see anywhere else for Osimhen to go, bro. I just don't. There's nowhere else for him to go.
Yeah, man. Send him to Saudi, man. Send him to Saudi, man. Yeah, man. We don't care about him, man. Watch baller anyway, wasn't it? You know what I mean? There we go, man. Watch baller. But listen, man. He's a watch baller, man. Listen, man, he's
Nah,
not
I'm
got
outta here.
no love
I'm
for the
out-
game.
I'm going to
No
start
love
my
for the
shit.
game.
I'm outta
No
here.
love for the game, man. No love for the game. You
Yeah.
don't love the game.
Yeah,
like
Ahmed,
that,
you
man.
lost. Remember that. You lost the game, son.
I
You
don't
lost.
lose, man. I don't lose,
You
man.
lost,
He's not
son.
going to.
Thank
He's
you,
not going to
chat.
that club yet.
Thank you for having my back, chat. Appreciate y'all. See you guys in a bit.
He is not.
And
he's
Scott,
not going to
yo,
that club.
Scott, I'll just put it in the. You can jump on my stream too. I was gonna do a solo.
He's never
stream,
coming
you
to
can
that
jump
club.
on if
But
you'd
he's
like.
never coming to that club. He's never coming to that club. I promise you, man. He will never come to that club. I promise you. But
All right, cool.
listen, let's actually talk a little bit more just quickly. I'm gonna do two more things. One
See
on
you guys.
outgoings and then one more on Ekitike. Big up to you, bro. And that is just a bit more news on Hugo Ekitike, which was from Tanzolik, which is that Chelsea are accelerating for Ekitike. And then there was one more thing which he also mentioned. Oh, I don't know. I'm looking at the NBA right there, and that is also this agent at work has revealed. You can see media picking him up fast. Ekitike agent is trying to get the price to around 70 million. Ekitike wants to join the product, and apparently, according to Simon Phillips also just reported that we had broadly agreed personal terms with Ekitike. So it's looking like. So again, we've clearly it seems that we're trying to get this Ekitike deal done as soon as possible, trying to get ahead of the market, trying to get ahead of the game, which again is a fairly logical approach in my personal opinion. If you're Chelsea Football Club, you want to do that for two reasons. Obviously, you want the player so you can be in the Club World Cup. That's our preseason, and then B, if you are going to be selling Jackson, you want to create a market for Jackson. By the way, right? You still two of the top players. Two of the top striker positions, yeah. Gokwas is going to be too expensive for a lot of these clubs. Sesko more than likely going to Arsenal, and then you throw Jackson into that market. You are giving yourself a 50, even up to 60 million range for Nicolas Jackson to be brought for. I can't lie to you. That is so. I think from
bro, do me a favor. Can you bring up Haas' comment?
The last one.
Yeah. Can people stop peddling this narrative? It's not true, by the way.
Tell me what he got a lot the season before. They always forgot what he got the season before,
Yes.
by the way. That's what
He got 17 goals in the league the season before. He was on. They bought him in January. He was on 9 goals before January. This idea that he only had 9 goals. Yes, prior to the January, like the first half of the season, he had 9 goals. The season where he had 17. Stop peddling that narrative. It pissed me off. It's like the Monaco thing when for as bad as the 2 centre backs we bought from Monaco were, this idea of they almost got Monaco relegated. No, they didn't. When they were playing together, they were 3rd in the league. They were the 3rd best defence in the league.
Yeah.
People want to peddle that stupid narrative to try and prove these players are shit or these players are good or whatever. Like, just they can be shit. You don't have to peddle a stupid narrative. Or they can be good and you don't have to do the same. Like, stop peddling shit narratives, man.
Yeah, but essentially, the point I'm just trying to make is that, again, you want to get Ekitike as soon as possible. And Jackson, you can create a market where you can sell it for a lot higher than maybe you want to.
I do. The other thing I question is we don't need 3 strikers in this team.
No, we're going to sell Jackson. I'm telling you. That's what's going to happen.
No, but my thing is more, we are going to sell Jackson. It's more when. Like, I don't think, my thing with the Ekitike thing is I don't think you need to rush him before the Club World Cup.
I think the reason why.
So, because you don't need 3 strikers in that competition.
But do you know what? I think they're
not going. Unless you're just telling Jackson he's not going, which would be interesting. That would be a tactic to tell him that you're gone. And I'm not opposed to it, but that would come out of nowhere. I think
if the way, but if you look at if the way that it's being reported, at least with Ekitike and stuff that's happening right now, it seems to be that they're really trying to speed this transfer up, bro, to make it happen quick. That's why, for me, I do wonder about Jackson's future. I'll be very honest with you. Like, is it going to be a thing of like, listen, you're available right now, you can just leave? Because you know the way this club acts, they'll just tell you to your face, we don't want you anymore. They'll just tell you that, and they'll just send you to the under 21s.
No, I get you, but and that's what I say. Unless the plan is just to tell Jackson you're finished, you're finito, and you're getting to and isolate him and him not be a part of the squad anymore. Which, if that's the way you want to go about it, cool. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's bad. I don't care. I have the same did it for the others. It's if you do what you want to do, that's fine. Or unless got an offer or we're speaking with someone behind the scenes and they've just kept really hush hush to it.
His agent hasn't it been reported though, Scott, that his agent has been looking at different clubs from already. So
potentially, but what I'm saying is there might be, because we've heard reported interest. What I'm saying is negotiating a deal to sell him this week. Is what I'm talking about, because you don't need three strikers going to the Club World Cup.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Unless that is happening, I don't see why you'd get Ekitike, because again, this is just from what I've seen. It's only, am I right in thinking it's only us and Liverpool at the moment that's interested in Ekitike?
Yes, there may be other suitors there may be others that are behind the scenes, but apparently we're the most advanced and the Liverpool.
So the only two I've heard of is us and Liverpool. Liverpool are currently trying to wrap up at £150 million deal for Wirtz,
and they need to make sales afterwards as well.
Which then need to make sales. I think they're a bit preoccupied at the moment. If they manage to do both of those, fair play to them. But I think you've got a bit of what my point is. I think you've got a bit of time with Ekitike. It doesn't necessarily need to be done before the Club World Cup. So the fact they're trying to seemingly get it done for the Club World Cup means either one of two things. It either means what CAA Mafia has just said, Delap's going to the U21s, which, if that's the case, fair enough. But I also think just have him in the squad, but whatever. Or number two, like I said, it's the
Jackson's on the way out. Fair enough.
Because you don't need three, and we don't need three in general. I know that a couple of people in the chat mentioned, "Oh, you have three. You do not need three strikers at this football club." When you play with one striker, and that one striker, in theory, will play 85% of the games. The only games they're not going to play are a couple low-level league games, and even then, I think they'll play, and cup games. That's how most teams work. I can't remember the last time we, as a football club, had three strikers, all of which you could say deserve to start. Not deserve to start.
Yeah, well, I remember when we had Anelka. It was Anelka, Drogba, and I can't remember the third track. It was Kalu. Was it Kalu with the third track at the time, right?
He wasn't a striker. He was a winger. He was a forward. It's because we played Anelka out on the wing.
Yeah. Oh yes. That's
that was years ago.
That was years ago. And again, even like I remember when we had, is it Diego Costa? We had Low Crummy at the time with Diego Costa, right?
Yeah, he was Remy was the backup though, and that's my point.
That's the point. That's what I was saying. I'm trying to think of, like, was Demba still there, or was he like the third striker for us at the time?
No, because unless I don't think so, because Costa took Demba number. I think Demba was 19. I think he was 19 before Costa.
Yeah,
was he 29?
Yeah,
I can't remember. I think he was.
Because like. Because even in that era, I remember the Mourinho era when we had Costa, we had Sherla, but Sherla was a winger for us at the time, wasn't he? So he wasn't even a striker for us at the time. He used to come off the wing, correct?
Sherla was a winger. The most recent time I can think, all the time you could argue, is probably when we had Werner, Havertz, and what's his face, Giroud. No, I was thinking Giroud.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh yeah, actually, no. To be fair, that's a good. When we had Kai, Giroud, and Tammy.
Yes. That's what I was
thinking. That's what, bro. Because
we had one Tammy and Havertz. Remember? We even had one Havertz and Tammy at one point in time. And Giroud.
But that's my point. I was gonna say that's the argument you can make. But if you look at that four, right, it's only really two strikers, because Werner spent most of that season playing as one of the tens or wingers, whatever you call them, and Tammy never played.
With Anelka left, I think, before.
Anelka and Torres didn't play together, I don't think.
Yeah, Anelka left. Yeah, remember, because Anelka left, and then we brought Torres in the midway through January, for 50 million, for if I'm not mistaken. So essentially, for me, irregardless, we'll see what happens. But I just think Jackson's time at the club, it's pretty much ordained. It's time to go for him, essentially, and everything like that. So I've seen a lot of people make the shout, obviously, for him to play on the wing. And I'll be honest with you, wing talk for Jackson, I'm not having it, bro. I'll be honest, and particularly with the way we play.
To be fair, I've just had a look, by the way. We did have all three of those guys.
Torres, Anelka, and Drogba.
Yeah, that was Anelka's last season.
Oh yeah, we had them. It was the season. Oh yeah, second season. Yeah. Oh yeah, we had.
Oh no! I apologize. You were right. So we bought Torres in the 11-12 season in the winter. So we started the season with two strikers and finished the season with three. But then Anelka left that summer, so we ended up with two again.
Yes.
So we only had 6 months of three strikers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say and it's what we don't see, especially nowadays, that you don't see three strikers for a team that plays one striker. You don't see three strikers. Because that third striker, the only time you do is that third striker is like a young player. Like, for example, it's a bad example, but it's the first example that came to mind. United at the moment have Højlund, Xerxes, and then they have Cheeto as the third striker. Us, for example, well, if you were doing it smart with us, you'd have like Ekitike, Delap, and then Hiu would be the third choice, because he's not going to get that many minutes. He's young, but you could maybe give him minutes here and there. You don't have three potential starters. I put it in quotations because I know most people say Jackson won't be, but
exactly. So I just think for me, listen, there's going to be a lot of players that need to be sold, but as I said yesterday in my last stream and even yesterday, a lot of players are going to be I think a lot of players are willing to leave Chelsea right now. The ones that are like on the fringes, or the Abadishio, the Sarsi, you name it. A lot of these guys are going to be willing to leave. The hardest people that are going to be sold, in my personal opinion, again, are going to be Chilwell and Sterling for a number of reasons that are quite easy to tell. But the rest of them want to leave. They're willing to leave. They're available to leave. So it's quite easy for me to do that, bro.
No, I agree. Yeah, we need to yeet some of these players out of this football club expeditiously. Yeah, they just need to leave. And we need to get some of this money in, because the thing I don't want to keep having to do, and I know we're going to because it's this ownership group and I just know how they work. I need to stop this thing of selling 12 players a window.
Yeah, they need to stop.
I really need that to die, because it's not sustainable. Not even actually, it's not necessarily not sustainable. It's not a good business model. The only reason you're doing that is because you've failed so catastrophically, with signings. For example, you look at some of the guys. I don't know if you're going to talk about if this was a topic, but that list that got brought out by the Guardian, I think it was. Number one, Petrovic being on that list is a joke. But second, you look at that list, it's like Vega, we bought last window. Dewsbury Hall bought last window. Felix bought last window. Sanchez we bought 2 years ago. And who else is on that list? I think Sterling's on that list. Can't remember who else on that list. It's
so again. So this is the list. You got
Sanchez, 2 years ago.
Petrovic, Vega, Chilwell. Ugochukwu was actually kind of disgusting, because I feel like Ugochukwu has kind of been the club has not helped him out there at all. Because I think there was a talented player there.
They haven't, bro. But this is the same issue of what we talked about. It's what I talked about earlier.
Him and Chukwuemeka, bro, have
really not been helped by the club. It's the same. It's what I talked about earlier with the Gittens thing. If you're buying these young players time and need development, you're not giving them time and giving them development. They have to hit immediately, which I'm cool with at this point, because honestly, you don't want to go and sign the players that are going to hit immediately. I want us to win things. So if want us to win things, they have to hit immediately. So it's just a bit backwards of you want these guys to develop, but then you also want them to hit immediately, because if they don't hit immediately, they're out the door.
Exactly.
That doesn't line up, because people have said this a lot to me when I talk about development, about players not developing or not performing. Development isn't always linear. A lot of these players, for example, I'm not saying he will, I'm not saying he won't. Ugochukwu could develop slowly or could not really go big until he's 26, 27. But 26, 27, he could have a Matic level explosion. But you decided to sell him after a year of being here, 2 years of being here, one of which was a loan at Southampton at 21, because you didn't think there was that development there for a player that didn't. Because it's not like it's a case of okay, Noni, he's not showing you that that immediate development, and he's a starter most weeks, so you need improvement there. Ugochukwu's a fucking squad player.
Ugochukwu is a squad player. Again, as I said before, this season, losing Lavia, Ugochukwu could have solved you that issue temporarily, bro. He may not have been as effective as Lavia, obviously, because he's not as good right now, but he would have been able to do some of the jobs that we were missing from Lavia, in my personal opinion. In terms of moving the ball, being somewhat press resistant, being able to pass the ball through the lines, right, and helping us start play, speed up play, being able to because the way he plays, he's not necessarily a destroyer. He's more so one of those guys that that closes off the passing lanes. That would have been very effective for us, bro. Because at times, because Caicedo's alone in that midfield at times, because Enzo sometimes has to be the box crasher for us. There's no one else there that's next to Caicedo that can just, let me cut that line because Caicedo can't.
But I agree there's no space. The space is taken up by Asugo. But this is the debate that I've had with Marshall before, where it's who's to say, and I don't know if this happens or doesn't happen, but who's to say in a year or two that Asugo isn't loaned out and then sold, and we're in the same position? It's bro, at what point do you just stop doing that? Because you're talking about the fifth choice midfielder. So who cares if they're not developing instantly to the level that you want? Let them develop with time, because that's the fifth choice midfielder.
And also, the other question I have to ask about Isugu, and I've said this before, What is there to say that Isugu is better than currently Ugochukwu right now?
There's nothing. There's
And
nothing
that's
to
the
say.
point.
He's less
And that's
experienced. Like,
and that's the point I make. Isugu, for we can criticize Ugochukwu all we want and say maybe he's not ready right now, but at least Ugochukwu's got a year in the Premier League.
I was about to say, yeah, I was gonna say at least he's had 2 years to acclimatize to the weather and
Mhm.
like to the country and to the 2 years of acclimatization to the league.
Exactly.
Maybe like one and a bit because he obviously didn't play that much in it for us in his first season. But that's the
Yes.
thing. It's like you're just spending money you need to spend on. And I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but like you spending money you don't need to spend on for no reason.
Exactly.
You just do this, and it's just I just
I always
don't
I get it's the club
the wrong
model,
way.
but the problem is, that Sanchez, for example, you could see from a mile away he was going to be a flop. Whether people want to admit or not, he was always going to be a flop. I think Petrovic had a great second season at Strasbourg. He had a decent first season at Chelsea. Yes, he was still making one or two mistakes, but you can forgive him because it was his first season in the Premier League and it was coming from the MLS, and he was still a good signing for us. Vega getting sold is because he burnt his bridges at the club because he tried to push for that loan move for Fingy and then tried to act like, no, I want to stay back at Chelsea. We all know that. True, well, we know the reason why. It's quite simple. He's the two injuries have basically killed the player that used to exist, and now he's a shadow of his former self. The Sarsi is not good enough. We understand that. Fafana is too injury prone for the team. Dewsbury Hall was a PSR signing. That's it. Chukwemeka, we failed, and then the injuries didn't help him either. Ugochukwu, we've spoken about already. Sterling was a signing that was made without no sporting director, and we just brought ourselves a player that was not worth it. Simple as that.
Yep. I think the thing I was gonna say as well with the Asugo and the Leslie thing is, regardless of who is in that position, they're not playing. Like, I expect Caicedo was playing every Champions League game outside of when we qualify. I think he might, but he's playing every Champions League game, every Premier League game. The only games he's not playing is the Cup. So again, I go back to the conversation or a point I made about Gittens earlier, in terms of the guys on the bench, the young players, only getting like the odd Cup game, the Champions League game where we're rotating probably the whole team if we qualify early, which doesn't really mean like he's not really playing with the first team, or getting 20 minutes a game to develop and perform. So they're going to develop potentially. Now, obviously, there are exceptions, but potentially develop at a slower rate than those playing week in, week out.
Exactly.
Because they're not getting as much game experience and match experience. So they're going to develop slowly. But that's fine because they're the fifth choice midfielder. So I'm not expecting Asugo to do much next season. Not because I don't think he's a good player, but because I don't think he's going to have as much opportunity. Because I expect Caicedo. We can all say, Caicedo needs a rest. Caicedo needs a rest. He needs to be rotated. Bro, like, if Caicedo is fit, he's playing. Like, he's just playing.
Yeah, he will just play consistently. Yeah. One thing I just want to say quickly, guys. I am 3 away just from 850 subscribers. Please make sure, if you can, to subscribe. Helps me out on the channel at the end of the day. So please, 3 of you to subscribe to get me to 850. Be much appreciated. As always, we are always live here whenever there's transfers new to talk about in and around about this similar time of 11 p.m. Please make sure to subscribe and like, please. But one final thing I do want to talk about before we end this one is João Felix. Apparently, João Felix is advancing to Benfica, and it's funny because there's someone that's actually at the club there that he's kind of gone through a similar Cinderella story to João Felix, and that's Renato Vega. No, Renato Sanchez. Sorry, my apologies. And it's kind of sad, bro. Like these two guys, man, Renato Sanchez and what's it called, João Felix, bro. Like, obviously one of them was a midfielder initially, and the other guy obviously is it's a cam striker, whatever you want to call him, right? It's just kind of sad, bro. Like they both came from Benfica, really talented players. Got a big move. The big move somewhat worked out for Felix initially, then didn't work out for him, and then they moved to other clubs. They become worse and worse and worse. Same with Renato Sanchez, bro. Wow, man, it's kind of crazy, bro. I don't know about you, man. The fact that he could be ending up back where he began, and he's only like 25 years old. You know how crazy that is, bro.
It's not that crazy in the grand scheme of things, because this is where This is where like players moving too early is bad for themselves. Like, I'm not surprised that this ends up happening because, like, especially like you look at the two players you named, Felix and Sanchez. They moved two clubs that they had no rights playing for way too early. Like Felix going to Atletico Madrid was a match made in hell with Simeone, and Sanchez going to Bayern with the midfield they had at the time as a match made in hell because he wasn't going to play. He just was not going to play with the midfield they had at the time in terms of starting. So that was just stupid. So you fucked yourself in that position. So I don't really have sympathy for them. And then again, because like the Felix thing of like, you never really showed anything at any club you went. The same with Sanchez, to be fair. Like, well, actually, he went to Lille, didn't he? And performed really well, and then off the back of that went to Milan.
No, it was PSG that he went to, bro. Remember?
Oh yeah, he went to PSG, and then again, like, so you didn't really learn from your mistakes. I'm not surprised this has happened, and honestly, I just hope we get good money for him. What if it is permanent? Like, we haven't heard if it's permanent or whatever.
It will
Hopefully
not
it's
be permanent to
I just hope we
Benfica.
get
It can't
good
be
money.
permanent with Benfica, bro. It won't be permanent. It'll probably be like a loan with like a loan with a buy with an option to buy. That's probably what will be
Fuck
for him,
off,
bro.
man.
You know that's how they work.
More
Man. Come
fucking
on.
loans. No, but fuck the loans thing, bro. The loans is what puts us in a position we have to make 12 sales a window because we can't get rid of these players. So just get rid of him. Like, if you have to take a bit of a loss, you have to take a bit of a loss. That's your fault for buying him and pulling out of the Omronion deal. You have to hold that. Just unfortunate, but oh well.
Yeah, man. I can't even lie to you, Ray Allen. That's facts, bro. Like, you have to look at. I know, obviously, with João Felix's agent is Jorge Mendes, which is obviously one of them. I don't know who the guy is for Renato Vega, but I just look at those two, yeah, and it's just like, you have to look at it and just be like, yeah, who was advising them at the time? You know what I mean? Who was telling them go to this place, go to that place, and stuff like that. Like, it's really crazy to me. I'll be honest with you, man, because these guys realistically should be probably like the peak of their powers right now, bro. Being where a lot of other players should are right now. So you gotta stay, as I said before, man. Stay clear of Mendes, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Leao Nation, you gotta stay clear as much as possible, bro. I don't care what anyone says, but we move. But listen, we are gonna end it here. Bridge Nation is gonna be out. You can catch me at 1 a.m. because I'm gonna be on American Waffle as usual with my good American mates, and as always. But of course, we are gonna be redirecting to my boy Bab Sports, aka Mr. Joey. Please make sure to go there. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. As always, I've been your host with the most origination. Tuchel out. Let's get in.
You're like, I can't even say the word.